ever feel dumb? Like really dumb? That's kind of how I feel right now. My intention for this review was to take my long-term loaner, the CXA81 Mark I, and then A/B it against the brand new one, the Mark II. And then I could just talk about the improvements that were made on the new amplifier and what the sonic differences between these two amplifiers are. And here's where I feel a little bit dumb, because I can't really tell the difference between them. I'm gonna borrow a bit from all the car reviews that I end up binge watching on YouTube. This is sort of a mid-cycle refresh to the CXA81. A refresh because they didn't just blow it up and rebuild it from the ground up. They took an already wonderful product and then just iterated on it a little bit and then made some improvements and then released a new version of it. The exterior of it really hasn't changed much. Save for the top right corner of the front fascia, they've dropped the 81 and now you just get CXA. You also get that beautiful casing that adorned the amplifier last round, the slick space gray finish that you see on many of the Cambridge products, and crucially, the same finish that's used on the CXN100. If you, like me, loved the look of the amplifier already, then it's nice to see that they've stuck with the same formula. The 81 Mark II comes packaged with a similar remote to last time, just with a slightly revised button layout. Now, I'm pretty sure that the CXN100 doesn't come with a remote, and then this one can be used for that unit. The feature spec is largely the same. It's a full-featured integrated amplifier. Class AB amplification, 80 watts into 8 ohms, 120 in a 4, an ESS Sabre DAC. The frequency response is just under 5 Hz to 60 kHz. The inputs are 1 balanced XLR, 4 RCA, 2 Toslink optical ins, 1 coaxial, USB audio in, Bluetooth aptX 4.2 built in, room tested, control bus, trigger ins and outs, and 2 sets of binding posts. As with the Mark I do wish that they included HDMI ARC or at the very least home theater bypass, just to make it easier to integrate this into a dual purpose setup like the ones that I use. So while it's business as usual on the exterior, it's really the inside, the guts, that have changed. Cambridge, in their own words, said that they just wanted to add an extra layer of definition to their current sound signature rather than a major deviation. First up was the DAC. It was upgraded from the ESS Sabre ES9016K2M to the ES9018K2M. They spent months painstakingly switching out combinations of components on the PCB boards to find a combination that provided more detail and a better soundstage. 10 major components were switched in this process. Now this part's crucial, it's in their own words and it's right off their website. I'm just going to read it really quick. The CXA81 Mark II does have an improved DAC, but the main story is the improvements that were made through tuning, with 10 major component changes, adding a significant cost increase, some layout enhancements, and months of listening and tuning work. We believe that we have kept the CXA81's signature sound and added extra detail, clarity, and much improved soundstage with real presence. So they've kept their signature sound, which softens the blow a bit and helps me feel a little bit less dumb. Like maybe I'm not supposed to hear like a major difference between these two products. Maybe it's just like those finer details that maybe a more educated ear might be able to hear, or maybe I just trust them. So after I took delivery of this, I set it up on my media stand alongside the original and then connected my CXN V2, my CXC CD player, and the Alva TT V2 turntable. Now, with this CXN V2, you probably don't need to know this, but normally I just trust that the dual DACs inside that are better than the single one inside the original 81. But since I was to test the DAC in this review, that I, instead of going balanced out from the CXN V2, I went coaxial out from the V2 and then optical out from the CXC CD player. And with the Alva TT V2, I just connected via Bluetooth because I can. And there is one feature that the Mark II has over the original, and that is TV mode. And it's available on Digital Input 2, D2. And what that does is it enables this amplifier to handle an audio signal from your TV without that dreaded optical stutter. Now, I have to offer up that some of the newer models of the original 81 do apparently have this feature, but my loaner seemingly did not. And for someone that uses amps in a dual-purpose environment, this is a boon. What you do is you put the 81 into standby mode, and then you press and hold the speaker AB until the lights alternate, and then inputs A1 to A4 light up, and then you're done. You're in TV mode. And fortunately, I had a bunch of speakers in-house from which to test out, starting with the Q Acoustics 5010 bookshelf, the B&W 606S3, and the lovely Sonus Faber Lumina 5 Amateurs. For all the speakers, I used my B&W 610 sub to fill out the bottom end. Then I just ran through a whole bunch of music that I love listening to for the next month and a half, and I watched a bunch of TV and movies as this setup resides in my living room. Overall, the CXA81 Mark II sounds lovely. It retains the same Goldilocks to my taste sound that I fell in love with on the original. And pairing it with the Q Acoustics 5010, the smallest of the speakers in this test, the 80 watts of channel on tap was more than enough power. It drove the speakers wonderfully, and paired with my B&W 610, they sounded as big as I could have imagined them sounding. I absolutely love this pairing. Moving up to the 606S3, the highs had a bit more bite, and of course the larger driver and cabinet opened up the soundstage and filled my room better. I loved it. And selfishly, this was a bit of confirmation bias for me because I did pull the trigger on a pair of 606s, and hearing them sound so good on this amplifier means I'm going to enjoy the crap out of these speakers. The Lumina 5s, of course, sounded the best. A modest 3-way floor stander did basically what the 606S3s did to improve over the 510s as far as overall soundstage and dynamics, just with more body in the mid-range and better separation overall. Everything sounds lovely. Cambridge kept their signature soundstage and refined the amplifier to deliver more presence, more detail, and a better soundstage, I think. And I can't tell you that I can hear measurable differences between these amplifiers, but I will offer up what I think I heard. I think at lower volumes that the 81 Mark II sounds a bit more detailed, maybe. Also, I think that the top end has a bit more sparkle and detail. And I think there is a bit more grip and control on the low end. I think. And I heard this on the Lumina 5 Amateurs, but I can't really say for sure. And the reason for this is also because this A-B comparison wasn't the slickest. It wasn't like I touched a button and it switched amplifiers. No. I had to disconnect everything from one amplifier and then reconnect it to the other one. And so there's a gap between me playing a song and then hitting stop and then turning everything off, disconnecting it, reconnecting it, and then turning back on, sitting back down and running that song back. So maybe I did hear something, or maybe I didn't. As with any product, I implore you just to do your own due diligence, read and or watch everything you possibly can. If you're lucky enough to have a retailer stock this in your area, please just go and have a listen. I think it sounds wonderful, but I'm a bit biased. I'm a Cambridge Audio fanboy. I love their products. I like their sound signature. If I was to make a reco, I would just say go for the new one. It's been further refined to sound better. It's got a new DAC. It's said to be a better mate to the new CXN100, and if that's the combo that you're looking for, then why not go for the new one? But also that TV mode. That's a game changer. I like watching TV and watching movies. Yeah, new one. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. Cheers.